Good afternoon, students. Welcome to Madhav's Institute of Tutorial and Languages. And now we will discuss about a major important topic of sociology, that is Jajmani system and Sanskritization. Now, before understanding these two topics, we have to understand the caste phenomena in Indian society. Caste has always been a significant social identity in Indian society, right? And hence, caste was not just a social identity but also an exchange of cultural and economic phenomena. How? Jajmani system is related with the caste system. In the medieval time, when the caste system was apparently very rigid in Indian society, there was a system of exchange. Exchange of what? Exchange of goods and services among the population of certain village. Now children, we have to understand, in the medieval time, the society was very self-sufficient society. Not just society, but also the economy was also very self-sufficient. There was no modernization, there was no advancement of transport or communication system as we see today, and hence we can conclude that in the medieval society was very bordered. Bordered by what? Bordered by various social customs, social identities, as well as economic narrowness. How? In the Jajmani system, which is a system of exchange, and that means during the medieval time, the land owning class used to give or provide services to the other class of people who did not own the land at that point of time. To be simply put, as we can say, that Jajmani system was a socio-economic exchange system. And what they used to exchange? They used to exchange goods and services. Now, as we have discussed, there was two classes. One was the land owning class. That means the I would say the people who were considerably in a good position in the society, who used to own a lot of land, and on the other hand, there was the people who did not used to own land. Clear? So the one who used to own land, they used to provide food grains to those population who did not used to own land. So this exchange of economy was a part of the Jajmani system. Now, what is the meaning? How do we know about the word Jajman? Jajman is like it has come into place. The word has come into place from the word which is known as Yajman. Yajman means the person who used to conduct yajnas. We know in the Vedic period, precisely in the later Vedic period, the Brahmins community used to perform yajnas. And when they used to perform yajnas, the other caste, that is a Kshatriya, Vaishya, they used to offer various goods to the Brahmins. So we can see a phenomena of dependence between the Brahmin class and the other caste. So that system was prevalent in Indian society for a long period of time, which today has taken the shape of the Jajmani system. Clear? So, how do we know that there was predominantly a system of Jajman, and it is reflected in the caste phenomena or caste identity? There were major social scholars, English social scholars. For example, Wbbse was one of the major important social scholar. Then Edmund Leach was one of the major English anthropologists. So these important social scholars have studied extensively and gave the theory of Jajmani system, which was predominantly present in the medieval and in the pre-British society. Clear? Now, we have to understand the major features of the Jajmani system. The first major features of the Jajmani system was interdependence. Now, as I said, children, that here there was an interdependency. Interdependency between whom? The land owning class, the one who used to own land, and the landless class. That means all the other castes who did not own the land. So the land owning class used to provide food grains and other necessities to the class of people who did not used to own the land. And what they used to give to the land owning class in return? They used to provide service. There were a plethora of various other communities or castes that emerged. For example, Nai, Dhobi, there were blacksmiths, right? There were milkmen. So all these castes and communities, there were potterers. So they used to provide what? They used to provide service. For example, the land-owning class, they were providing food grains to a dhobi, the washerman, and the dhobi in return is washing the clothes. Because why this system was predominant in the medieval? Because at that point of time, there was no currency system that we see now. So hence, the interdependence was very spontaneous and unavoidable situation in that medieval society of India. Clear? So interdependence between the two castes, various castes, was a main feature of the Jajmani system. The second feature of Jajmani system is the division of labor. Wbbse has particularly written that division of labor that we see as a major outcome of the Industrial Revolution per se was very present in the Jajmani system in India as well. How? Now, obviously, the Nai used to, particularly the barber, they used to, cut the hair. The dhobi, they were the washerman. The cobbler, they had different work. The blacksmith, the ironsmith, they had different work. The milkman, they used to have a different work. And the landowning class, they were the owners of the land. They had a different work, that's cultivation. So each and every caste and each and every population, their work was divided and distinct. So no one used to interfere with others' profession or occupation. Why? Because there was a system of dependence. They also have to depend on the other. The landowner also have to depend on the washerman. The washerman also have to depend on the landowning class because they used to provide food grains. So this interdependence has made the Jajmani system very prominent. And the second feature that we have discussed is the division of work, the division of labor. Everyone, their work was divided, which made a smooth functioning of the society. The third feature was self-sufficiency. And what do we mean by self-sufficiency? The village economy. The village society was self-sufficient. Today we are living in the age of globalization. We are living in the age of interconnectedness, where people are traveling across for their own survival, for their sustenance. But at that point of time, there was no such, development of transport and communication. And hence, people has to depend on the people who belongs to their own village. So as a result, there was self-sufficiency. The landowning class, they used to ensure that from the one from whom they are getting the service, the Nai, the Dhobis, the blacksmith, the ironsmith, the washerman, everybody, from the people from whom they are getting the service, they are also living with sufficient, food grains or food. That the landowning class has to ensure. Clear? So there was a self-sufficiency and everybody was very much content about their own occupation, about their own profession. Clear? Next, the fourth major important feature of the Jajmani system was heredity. The person, for example, the landowning class, their child used to be again forming the landowning class, they also formed the landowning class similarly. Similarly, the nai, the child of the nai used to be also the nai. The child of the dhobi used to be the dhobi also. So the system of heredity, like the way we say, no, the caste system is very hereditary in nature. So that time, the people who belonged to these professions, their professional spectrum was also based on heredity. So that was again important feature of the Jajmani system. The fifth important feature was the relation between, the permanent relation between the landowning class and the one who did not used to own the land. Clear? So that was the fifth major feature of the Jajmani system, because there was, as we say, because all these features, children, are interconnected. They are all interconnected. How? Because these, why am I saying about the permanent relation? Because they have, for their own sustenance, they have to depend on the other caste. For the sustenance or the survival of the nai, they have to depend on the landowning class, the Malik class, and the other caste, the service class, the nais, the dhobis, they were known as majorly the Kamins, and the land owning class, they were known as the patrons. So the society was divided into these two category of people. One was the patrons, the land owning class, and the other was the Kamins, who belonged to the nais, the dhobis, the blacksmiths, the ironsmiths, the metalsmiths, and the service, the one who used to provide service. Clear? And the last important point is the security of occupation. Now, what do you mean by security of occupation? As their work was dependent on heredity, they did not necessarily have to change the job, because their job was also dependent. They cannot fluctuate from one occupation to another occupation. Then their life would have been, uncertain. So the person who used to be dhobi, his son used to be also the dhobi. So there was a security of occupation. And why there was a security of occupation? Because there was security of income. They were sufficient. There was no competition like the world that we live today, a market economy, where there is so much of competition. They did not used to live that life. Clear? So all these features made Jajmani system a very, very prominent social and economic system in the Indian society. Clear?